So our third stop on our virtual field tour is a trial titled Faba agronomy to enhance yield, hasten maturity, and reduce disease. So this trial is being led by Chris Holzaffel of the Indian Head Agricultural Research Foundation with funding provided by the Saskatchewan Pulse Growers. All 8 AgriArm sites are involved in this trial, and this is the first year of this one-year trial. Within this trial, we have 3 different factors. We're looking at a early seed date versus the late seed date, 2 different seeding rates of 45 and 65 seeds per meter squared, and then we have the application of a fungicide 7 to 10 days after the first flower is observed within each plot.
The early seed date was to target as early as possible, which for us at Melfort was April 30th, which is reasonably early for us. We did experience a good frost after the early seed date emerged, however, no significant damage was noticed. Our late seed date was to target at least 14 days after the early date, and we were able to seed that later date on May 19th, which is a more typical seed date for our respective region. Previous research has demonstrated that earlier seeded faba beans tend to have superior yields as compared to faba beans seeded in late May to early June. Faba beans are also a later maturing pulse crop, and therefore seeding early in a shorter season area such as Melfort is ideal to ensure the plants are able to mature before the first killing frost. In addition to seed date, the 2 different seeding rates we used, as I mentioned earlier, were either 45 or 65 viable seeds per meter squared. In 2018, Chris Holzaffel at iHarv compared seeding rates of 25, 45, and 65 seeds per meter squared in faba beans and saw moderate yield increases with each increase in seeding rate, as well as a slightly earlier maturity with the highest seeding rate used.
At Melfort, so far this year, we have seen a significantly increased plant density with our higher seeding rates. So we have an average of about 10 plants per meter squared, of a higher plant density with the 65 seeds per meter squared as compared to the 45 seeds per meter squared seeding rate. And then we also have a significantly increased plant emergence on our later seed date as compared to our early seed date by about 4 plants per meter squared. And then when it comes to the fungicide application at 7 to 10 days after the first flower, there's a lot of uncertainty as to the optimal fungicide timing in faba beans right now. Some previous research has found yield increases with the application of a fungicide in faba beans. However, there's a lot of uncertainty as to when the optimal timing is, and the benefit of a fungicide can be very dependent on the environmental conditions of that year. So far in our plots this year, we have not seen very much disease, which is likely due to the very dry and hot conditions that we're having this year.
Chocolate spot or botrytis is usually the disease of greatest concern in faba beans. However, in recent years, diseases such as Stemphylium blight and alternaria have been of increasing concern. We have found very little disease in our faba beans this year, which is likely due to the very dry weather. However, in this trial, we are evaluating disease pressure prior to fungicide application, and then again approximately 2 to 3 weeks after fungicide application, which will help us determine if there is any reduction in disease pressure after application as compared to the unsprayed treatment. At our site, we sprayed Priaxor at 0.18 liters per acre as the fungicide in this trial. In addition to plant densities and disease ratings, we will also be evaluating the days to flower of each treatment, days to maturity, yield, seed moisture at harvest, and seed size. All results will be available in the winter of 2022, so stay tuned for the final results at winter meetings and on neag.ca.